Something that, well, a certain other protag has to suffer through. Yeah, this character is not fun. EX Djeeta, one of the 3 EX characters that we have in the game currently. An alternative version of normal Djeeta with the exact same normals, but different specials. Each EX character fulfills a different niche that their normal version doesn't. EX Gran is a lot more rushdown orientated compared to his normal version, being more of a Shoto. EX Normaya is much easier to play due to not having 2 stances like her normal version and has access to better mid-screen combos. While EX Djeeta, yeah, let's talk about it. I'm going to start off by saying that every EX character has abysmal play rate. You'll normally never see anyone play their EX versions. EX Djeeta definitely got the worst of the 3. In the many matchup charts that I've seen on Twitter, people usually put EX Djeeta in the, I don't know, or the not enough experience, or just default her into the advantage tier, or even the who even plays this character tier. Many also say that there's no reason to play EX Djeeta. So you might be wondering, why is that? Well, to start with, Djeeta is agreed upon to be the weakest Shoto in the game currently after she got nerfed. Before the nerf, her heavy Vorpal blade 214H was terrifying. It had insane corner carry, was able to be confirmed off of anything, and caused a wall bounce to allow you to continue the combo in the corner with the last hit.
No, please, have mercy!
This alone gave her insane burst range. With this, alongside her overall good and fast pokes, and more, she was actually one of the strongest characters in the game, especially with the introduction of ultimate skills. Now, imagine heavy Vorpal blade, but completely safe on block, much faster, and deals more damage. Then, you would get ultimate Vorpal blade 214U. Unlike 214H, the last hit does wall bounce and makes for an excellent move to whiff punish and just fish for a hit, thanks to it only being -4. Now that her 214H got nerfed with normal wall bounce on the last hit, it still has the crazy corner carry it's infamous for. You might be wondering why I'm talking about Vorpal blade and how good it is for a while, especially since EX Djeeta doesn't have this. Yeah, exactly. EX doesn't have this move. It was replaced with Aurum Flow, a move commonly used as a combo ender. This move, in all honesty, does not compare to how good Vorpal blade is, even with stocks. Oh, and speaking of that, her 5U allows her to charge stocks to empower her 214X, Aurum Flow, and 236X, Reginleiv. Without these, she has pretty bad damage, at least compared to other Shotos, and doesn't have access to certain combos that will give her better damage. In order to safely charge these stocks, she has to sacrifice Oki for it. In a game where the strike throw mind game is super important, sacrificing Oki is pretty bad. You have to constantly make a choice between getting better damage or keeping your advantage. Unlike Percy, who has a hitbox with his charge and can juggle people using it, Djeeta is completely vulnerable while charging, while also taking a lot longer to charge as well. And after charging for 10 years, you can only have a max of 3 stocks, while Percy could have a max of... and let's talk about how the stocks affect those moves and her specials overall, starting with Reginleiv, her 236X. Other than giving it more damage, she does fire out a stronger fireball without having to charge it like her original version would have to. These fireballs have 2 classes worth of hits to easily win fireball wars and give the ability to launch foes in the air compared to keeping them grounded on hit, so you can easily take more space to press the advantage or get more stocks. This all sounds good, but EX loses the ability to change her fireball timings. This can make her fireballs predictable where people can easily dodge or cross over them, while Djeeta can charge hers to trip people up if they try to dodge. Now, I will say that there is one pretty strong thing about these stocked fireballs. It causes a wall bounce on counter hits, and the threat of that can set up some scary corner situations. The ultimate version is the same as Grand's ult fireball. It goes full screen and destroys any fireballs in the way. Aurum Flow 214X with stocks allows Djeeta to launch the opponent higher, which gives her the ability to link it to stronger normals when comboing in the corner. Normally, I can't link 214H into 5H, but when I have a stock, I can. Stocked 214M can link into 5M in the corner, but if it counter hits, I can 5H in the corner even without a stock. Also, with a successful 214L, you can use 214M as a meaty. With stockless 214L, you can use 214M after and be -5, which is pretty safe on block. Unless you're going against this loser. Though, with a stocked up 214L, you'll be -1 after your 214M. This lets you RPS characters with slow FLs like Matera for example. Unfortunately, that's really the only changes that happens when you stock up and use 214X. It doesn't really do too much of anything outside of being able to link into stronger normals in the corner. 214U is a combo ender where she uses the move that looks oddly familiar and is her main form of whiff punishing, although it ends the combo. EX DP is the exact same as Djeeta's DP, so nothing much to say there. Her 22X, Overdrive Surge, is plus on block and doesn't use stocks. There's some use to keep the pressure going using this move, and it functions as a throw bait. Though it is pretty slow, and even on a successful throw bait, you don't really get much reward unfortunately. It's not very functional on combos, specifically anti-air ones, as the tracking on both 22L and 22H are pretty bad. Alongside not giving you much to work with mid-screen. This move is pretty hard to use overall on an opponent that can react, and in general, as it's slow enough to be able to easily be dodged. The real only saving grace she has is 22U. It's honestly a pretty solid move. It gives her good damage, and is a form of combo extension. Alongside being a good anti-air due to the vacuum effect it has, it's the one good move that EX has in my opinion. The only problem, however, is that it can only be followed up with 2M and 2U. And it costs 50% meter. Even though getting meter in this game isn't very hard, the fact that her best move is locked behind meter really sucks. One last thing, Djeeta actually has 2 SSBAs. One of them is Skyfall, her normal SSBA that she only has access to at 30% health or below, and the other is Internal Ascendancy. Normally, it's her SBA, but at 30% health the move is enhanced into an SSBA. This allows her to take 2 bravery points, have an extended cinematic hitbox compared to normal, and deal damage similar to other SSBAs in the game. She's the only character, thus far, with this trait, as every other character, except 2B, only has 1 SSBA, and the characters with 2 SBAs usually are the same move but different properties, or they have an install. This move can allow you to do some absolutely disgusting whiff punishes.
Marvelous!
While still taking their BP. EX may have the same SBA by name, but they're not at all similar. Instead of a forward lunge that looks a bit familiar by now, she leaps forward before blasting her opponent using internal power. This SBA does not get enhanced at 30% health or below, so this one doesn't have the range or threatening whiff punish ability that Djeeta's SBA does, which unfortunately makes it a much inferior version. Overall, EX kinda suffers from having low damage without stocks and even lower damage without meter at times, which is something Djeeta herself suffers from. No change in fireball timings, forced to use stocks, even if stocked, her skills aren't really that special, no good whiff punishes, etc. EX loses a lot of things that makes Djeeta good while only having a few things that aren't as good. I think Crystal Hakare, I hope I said it right, said it best when it comes to EX. Really, the main thing about EX Djeeta is that she has no purpose, entirely outclassed in every single category by every other Shoto. At least with a character this outclassed, normally you can find a reason to pick them if you like the character they are, but that's not even a reason with EX, because you can go play normal Djeeta, who, while not amazing right now, has her own unique functions. The part that sticks with me is the you can find a reason to pick them if you like the character they are. As if you like the character themselves, that's a pretty solid reason to play them. EX Djeeta is in a unique spot where if that was the case, you can just play her normal version and have a much better time. Of course, even after saying all of this, these are just my personal thoughts on EX Djeeta. There are some people that do enjoy playing EX Djeeta and there's nothing wrong with that. EX characters will always be something I want more of. Seeing how they can remix an existing character to fulfill different niches while still having familiarity to them is always cool. I talked about this a lot in my EX discussion video. You should totally watch that if you haven't already. Though, I think EX Djeeta feels very half-baked and doesn't really have much of a reason to be played over normal Djeeta. Originally, the video was supposed to end here with me begging you to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this. But if you haven't already, you totally I mean, I could have ended the video with me simply trashing and talking about how terrible EX Djeeta is. But what if I did more? This section is to talk about what I would personally change about EX Djeeta to make her an actual fucking character. Now, before we get into the details of these buffs, my main goal with them is to make them strong enough to where the player has to make a choice between playing Djeeta or EX instead of Djeeta or half-baked Djeeta. However, not too strong, whereas vice versa. This is, of course, my opinion on what could make her better. If you have suggestions or feel like saying, "Hey Jalen, you literally created Beatrix 1.0 again, why would you do this?" Or, "Wow, these changes are garbage," be sure to comment. Now, let's finally get into those changes, starting with 5U. The first thing I would change is to increase the max amount of stock she can have from 3 to 5. I think if I have to spend almost a full second being completely vulnerable outside of a hard knockdown, I should at least get more than 3 charges. To compare her to Percy again, he at least has the benefit of having a hitbox on his 2-2-X, allowing him to combo into this move or even safely cancelling into 2-2-L after poking with a FH to get a single stock due to how fast it is, compared to EX Djeeta tapping 5U. With how hard it is to get stocks using EX Djeeta, I feel like having the ability to hold on to more stocks to use when needed would make her feel so much better. Alternatively, they could make it to where 5U doesn't take as long to get stocks if we are to keep per max stocks at 3, with 5U taking 32 frames to get 2 stocks and 42 frames to get 3 stocks, reducing the amount of time by 10 frames and 15 frames respectively. The second thing I would change is how stocked medium Reginleiv works. Keep the properties of having an extra clash level and the speed of the fireball, but make stocked 236M chargeable to change the timing a little, to make the pressure more scary in the corner with the threat of counter hitting. The full charge should have 30 frames to start up, similar to Djeeta's Charge H fireball to catch people trying to dodge. As compensation, a stocked up 236L will lose its ability to wall bounce off a counter hit, but you can still follow up with a 5L if it does connect in the corner. The third thing I would change is how the stocked versions of Aurum Flow works. Stock 214H doesn't really do anything other than let me use 5H instead of 5M to extend the corner combo. Stock 214L exists, I guess, and helps with the meaty setup. And stock 214M doesn't do anything unless I'm in the corner or doing the aforementioned setup. I would buff both stock 214L and 214M to where you are safe on block. Without stocks, it'll still be -6. Stock 214H should also allow you to combo into 22U mid-screen and in the corner to give Djeeta much more reward mid-screen. Honestly, I don't know what to do with the 22X series of moves. Outside of making 22L and 22H better at tracking opponents after a successful 2H, compared to 22M, the other two are very inconsistent. I don't know. I still feel like these moves are hard to make use of. So if you have a better idea, be sure to say it in the comments. Oh, and I just recently learned that you could do this. Let's make this not possible anymore. Now, after at least those list of changes are made to EX Djeeta, she'd feel good enough to become a reason to be played over Djeeta, but maybe not overwhelmingly good to where Djeeta herself won't be played. She'll feel like her stocks matter, and, most importantly, won't feel miserable when trying to get stocks.
Hey, here's a thought. Maybe you ask the devs for some buffs in the next patch.
That's all from me. If you liked the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Have yourselves a good one,